Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. Georgia Bear Reviews back at you today with another one. And what I'm looking at is Founders Backwoods Bastard. I was so happy with the Dirty Bastard Scotch Ale that I examined with Michael Komaroff not too long ago. I wanted to buy this one. I bought a 4-pack for $14.99. Not very cheap, but this is from their barrel aged series. It is an ale aged in oak bourbon barrels. And it says, expect lovely, warm smells of single malt scotch, oaky bourbon barrels, smoke, sweet caramel, and roasted malts. A bit of earthy spice and a scintilla of dark fruit. It's a kickback sipper made to excite the palate. This was bottled on September 19th, 2018, so pretty fresh, guys. And this particular one is 11% alcohol. The alcohol does vary slightly year to year. It is a bourbon barrel or a barrel aged beer. I noticed I haven't watched any of the other reviews, but I pulled it. I pulled them up on YouTube just to get some quick information, and I've seen 11.2, I've seen 11.4. This one is 11, so it varies, annually when they put this beer out. It's a little bit different every year, but you can look, for the alcohol to be right around 11%. So a barrel aged beer, really strong beer, a nice dark beer. Gave it a pour. Look at that color, guys. Very dark. The lighting here is poor, but if I hold it up to the light, it does have some nice ruby colors around the edges, but it's pretty dark for the most part. You really can't see through it. I guess if you held it up to direct sunlight, you might be able to. Pour with a finger and a half to 2 fingers worth of a nice creamy beige head. It looks amazing in the glass, guys. And I've had so many different Founders beers over the years. I've been very pleased with their stuff. They make great beers, and generally the price point is not too bad for what you're getting. I mean, $14.99 for a 4-pack is a little expensive. These are 12-ounce bottles, but this is from their barrel aged collection. It's 11% alcohol, and this is going to be a pretty dang good beer. Um, so, with that being said, let's get an aroma on this bad boy. Ooh, very dark roasted malt aroma. Picking up on some cocoa, some dark chocolate notes on the aroma. Nice caramel. Smells pretty sweet. Not really picking up on too much of a hop bite. The IBUs are not listed on the label. I looked up a couple of other YouTube videos, although I haven't watched them yet. I've seen 50 IBUs. I've seen 55. So the IBUs vary from year to year, and it does not say on the bottle. So honestly, there ain't no telling. But this is going to be a malt forward beer, okay? The IBUs, even if they are 50, it's not going to feel like 50 because I am not really an IPA drinking type of guy. Normally, I don't really like too much bitterness, and 50 IBUs is getting up there, but this is a malt bomb on the aroma. So those IBUs, however high they may be, are not going to be the defining characteristic in this beer. They're going to be there to balance it out, and that is the only reason that those hops are in there. Not to add any citrus or piney notes or anything like that, because you're definitely not getting any of that on the aroma. So very malt forward, getting some nice chocolate notes. You're getting some caramel sweetness. Maybe a little bit of bourbon, honestly, to be frank with you guys, on the aroma. A little bit of bourbon barrel type thing going on, which it is aged in barrels, oak barrels. For how long, I don't know, but this is a very high alcohol beer. I would imagine at least 3 to 4 months, maybe longer than that. $14.99 for a 4-pack. I would expect it to have been aged in some oak barrels for a little while, at least. Get my money's worth. It smells awesome, guys. It really does. It smells incredible. Let's get into it. Cheers. Aroma follows through perfectly. Malt forward. You're getting some chocolate, dark chocolate. You're getting a little bit of like a caramel, like a Werther's Original type thing. Very, very malty. Malty, malty, malty all day long. Not picking up on any bitterness with this one. Those IBUs that are there, they serve one purpose, to balance this beer out. Otherwise, it would just be too cloyingly sweet. And this beer is not cloyingly sweet, so it's very well balanced with the hops that they're using in here. A little smokiness, a little toasted bread note in the middle of the sip. A little bit of vanilla. I think the oak presence is really kind of shining through in the middle of the sip with this one. It's very, it's oaky and almost peaty in the middle of the sip, like with a single malt scotch or something like that. It's really hard to describe. If you're not a big whiskey drinker, you might not understand what I'm talking about. But if you've had single malt scotch, if you've had bourbon whiskey, if you're familiar with that oak complexity, that oak component that you get with barrel aged products, then you'll know what I'm talking about. There's definitely a lot of that going on with this. Very complex, really hard to describe, but it's very, 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 very good. The finish is it's semi-dry, I suppose. The drinkability at 11% is not super high. However, this is not a boozy beer. It's very drinkable, very sippable. You can get into some trouble with this. 11%, not picking up on 11% alcohol. No freaking way. Um, I mean, it is heavy bodied. It is more of a heavy bodied beer, so you really couldn't drink too much of this, I don't think, anyway. But if you're kind of in the moment and you're drinking, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so good. Sip. I could see you getting carried away with this because it's not boozy. It doesn't really warn you in that regard. It is heavy bodied, so you take a few sips and, ooh, wow, this is a big beer, filling beer. But it's not a boozy beer. If you're a bigger guy like me, you could get into a lot of trouble with this because you can just sip on this and it's like, you're not going to get full drinking something like this. I'm not. A lot of people will. But it's very deceiving in that regard. So be careful with it. You could get into a lot of trouble. And a 4-pack for $14.99, it's really not a bad deal for you're getting, a really high gravity, high alcohol beer, and oak barrel aged beer. There's a lot of complex flavors in here. It's really enjoyable. I'm giving this one, God, this is really good, guys. I got to go 98 out of 100. It's up there. It's getting towards world class. It's really, really good. I mean, excellent beer. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I give it 2 thumbs up. I highly recommend it. The price point is spot on for what you're getting. I think it's a great value. If you could buy a single, fine, but I can get a 4-pack for $14.99 for an 11% barrel aged product. As awesome as this one is, I can't help but give it, the highest recommendation possible. The Dirty Bastard that I had the other day with Michael Kormaroff. We examined that one. That one is awesome as well. I think I also gave that one like a 97 or 98 out of 100. That one's a little bit more drinkable. It's 8.5%. It's not as heavy bodied. And I would probably drink that one more than this one, but this one is still excellent, and this one is more of a sipper than the other one. The other one's a sipper too at 8.5%, but this one is definitely a sipper. There's a lot to appreciate with this one. A lot of nice complex flavor from the roasted barley malt, the barrel aging. It's just really good, guys. I can't help but give this the highest possible recommendation. Founders is really doing a good job. They've impressed the hell out of me lately. They're putting out great products. Definitely check them out. They are, a craft brewery. They have a lot of excellent products. You're going to get some really awesome stuff from them. And yes, it may be a little bit more at a premium price point than some of your other stuff, but it's worth it, and it's still a hell of a lot cheaper than some of your local craft breweries. Some of the stuff that's just kind of, you know what I mean? Like we have Monday Night Brewing, which is great. It's located in Atlanta. They have a drafty kilt Scotch ale, which is comparable to the Founders Dirty Bastard Scotch ale, but it's like $5 more per 12 pack for their stuff, and it's local. I get it. It's great. It's a smaller brewery, but is it worth that much more? No. Founders does a lot of great stuff that these other smaller local craft breweries are doing, and they're typically cheaper. So check out Founders if you haven't already. I highly recommend them. I highly recommend the Backwoods Bastard. I think it's a solid A, more than a solid A. It's going up there towards world class, and I blabbed on enough. I'm sorry, guys. I tend to do that when I'm drinking excellent beer, and I'm having a hard time describing it, which I am now. There's so many nice, complex flavors with this one that my palate can just not interpret and comprehend to describe to you guys. So I apologize for that. But what I can say is that this is pretty much a world-class beer. I highly recommend it. I think you guys should check it out immediately. You will not be disappointed with this beer. And if you are disappointed with this beer, then maybe try to drink something else, because I don't think you'll be disappointed with this beer. If you don't like this beer, then you probably don't like craft beer. And I don't mean that to be offensive or anything. I'm just saying, like, this is pretty much as good as it gets with this type of stuff. So that'll do it for this beer review, guys. Hope you're having a great day. I really appreciate all the support, all you guys that have subscribed and commented. I love communicating with all you guys on YouTube and talking about beer. So keep up the great work on your end. I look forward to reading and responding to all your comments. So that'll do it for this beer review, guys. Until next time, everybody. Cheers.